Foyz.
Faiz.
Yeah.
Hi, Faiz. Welcome back.
Hello.
Hi, Faiz.
Yes. Hi.
How are you doing? Welcome back to the class.
Thank you.
It's nice to meet you here again and
Yeah.
resume our, the course, our beautiful, wonderful course. Okay. AWS. Yeah. So I think I just want to give you a quick roundup of what we have covered in the previous classes.
Yeah.
Okay. In the previous classes, I think in the previous classes we have covered. One
We
second.
have created instance. We
Yeah,
have the backup.
EC2 instance is created, and we have taken EPS backup. Backup in the sense like we have to use the word, yeah, backup. We can use the word, but the main word is we used to learn how to create a snapshot, and from the snapshots how to create volumes
Yes.
and how to switch the volumes.
Yes.
I think we have done that.
Yeah.
And
And
later
the
we have
purpose
discussed on
of security group.
elastic load balancer. We have
Yes.
discussed this one. You remember?
Yeah.
We hit up with some kind of problem, but I think we have solved the problem as well the next day.
Yes.
And after that, we have done auto scaling group. So what does an auto scaling group do?
Let me see. Let me grab my notes.
Sure.
So auto scaling is it's distributing the load, how long it will wait to launch when utilization is high,
No,
to
no.
consecutive period, right?
Yeah, that is right. That's absolutely right. So the thing is, actually, there are two policies that we set. That is auto scaling group policy, ASG, auto scaling group policies. So
Yes.
under these policies, we have two things: add an instance and remove an instance. We will add an instance by setting a condition that if the metric is something, if the metric is greater than some required percentage, you add number of instances. It could be one, it could be two, it could be many, and remove the instance. If the same metric or maybe a different metric is less than the required percentage, then hey, then we have to tell to the Amazon.com, hey, you just remove the instance. So the metric, what we have defined in the lab is CPU utilization rate. So what is CPU utilization rate?
CPU utilization, uh, if the load increase, if it goes more than 50% utilization, it's automatically add one instance.
No, that's fine. 50. It is not just 50%. That the number of the percentage X percentage is what we define. Not just 50% or 60% number. The number X is what we define. So
Yeah.
my question is, what is CPU utilization? What is this metric?
Uh,
So, I believe you use Windows laptop, right?
yes.
So what happens if your system gets stuck? So what is the first thing that you do when your system gets stuck?
Go to the task manager and see that process. How many
Right? You go to the task manager, and what process you see? You see the CPU utilization rate.
utilization and the process is like what?
Exactly. The CPU utilization is 100%. You will see it's 100%, maybe 99% when your system gets stuck.
Yeah.
That is because your CPU is completely occupied. That means the CPU memory or the RAM is completely occupied. When your RAM is exceeded, your system gets stuck. Correct?
Yes.
By the same token, the server gets crashed or the server goes unavailable if the server's memory is completely occupied. We often try to, access some of the websites and, high demand websites sometimes, crashes, right?
Yes.
I think I told you the example of the Canadian embassy website crashing.
Yes.
Why does it happen? It happens because if everyone tries to access that website, if everyone sends requests to the website's memory could not accommodate those requests.
Yep.
That means if the memory of the server gets exceeded, only then you'll see this error message. But the main cloud computing pillar is you have to ensure HA. That means high availability all times. You have to ensure high availability. So in order to ensure high availability and in order to avoid such problems like these, what is our resort thing? What is the method that we resort to? Is the auto scaling group, where we detect or where we predict such a thing happens. So we design the policy in such a way that when CPU utilization hits 30% or 40% or 50%, we add an instance so that before the CPU utilization rate gets 100%, we have one instance ready to be added. In that way, our system will never get crashed. So you understood the whole thing?
Yes.
So these are the 4 labs that we have discussed. And today's lab, we'll discuss about something which is easy, something which is not so difficult, but something very important. That is what we call IAM. IAM. It's a very, very important, but a very, very easy process. Identity Access Management. So what is IAM? Identity Access Management. You got this? This acronym.
Identity Access Management.
That's right. Identity Access Management. So it's the management of access based on your identity. So you work in a firm, right? So you have your manager, right? So you work under a manager, right?
Yep.
So the thing is, your manager might have a different kind of accesses for different services in your firm. And you have different accesses to different systems in your firm. There is a difference in the kind of services that you and he accesses, right?
Yes.
That is how is it happening? It's based on the identity, because you are you are in one kind of role, and your manager is in a different kind of role. So that's why it is called as role-based access. Understood what I'm talking about? Role-based access. So based on the user's roles, they have some rights. And these rights change based on the user's role or user's identity. That's why we call this as identity access management. But simply IAM. Got it?
Yes.
So let's try to understand the management hierarchy. If you look at the management hierarchy chart, so yeah, this is a very good example here. So you have upper management, you have middle management, you have lower level management. And upper management has several designations, and so does middle management, and so does lower level management. So if you notice, the levels of access that the upper management has always differ from that of the middle management. And the levels of access the middle management has differs from that of the lower level management. Is that right?
Yeah.
So how this is happening? How can we do that? Through IAM. That is what we call identity access management. So here, what kind of access are we talking about? That's a very important question. What kind of access? So the kind of access that we are talking about is the access to the services in AWS. The access in services of the AWS. So let me try to demonstrate an example so that you'll understand what I'm talking about. So now I'm going to create two users. Let's call him Dev. And access type is programmatic access. That means he can access, you'll have an access ID and secret access ID, and management console access. That is to my account. So here Anil4973 is the boss. Next, permissions. So let's say I'm going to give some permissions to the user dev. Let's say EC2 full access. Next, review. So create a user. So I created a user named dev. And when I download credentials of dev, show in folder, let's name this as dev. So dev, the user dev has access to EC2 management. Now let's try to add a different user. Let's try to create a different user. Let's call him as a database admin. And I'm going to give access to this database admin guy. Next, permissions. So I'm going to give him the access of, let's say, DynamoDB. Full access. DynamoDB is a NoSQL database. Next, review, create user. So now I have the credentials for the user database admin. Now, let me try to explain what I'm talking about. I think this is a good option. Color, probably. Yeah, I think this is. Oh, many of these are disabled. I understand. Okay. So now, this is A. A stands for Anil4973. This is my account.
Mm-hmm.
And here D dev database. So the dev has what kind of access he has? He has EC2 admin access. And this guy has DynamoDB. right? We have just configured
Yes.
the accesses. Now, and we got the credentials for this guy. And so for this guy, right? We got credentials for 2 users. And 2 users are managed by whom? Managed by Anil. He's the boss. This guy is the boss guy. So the boss has created 2 users, dev and database admin, and he has given credentials based on their roles. Now the dev wants to access something in Anil 4973 account. So what he do is he just open his credentials thing. This is his username. And so he copies the link. This is the link where he can traverse through the console. So the username is dev. Password is already given here, right? This is the password. Copy the password and enter. So now it's asking for the old password. Old password, I just copy. New password, let's say AWS 123 dot. AWS 123 dot. Confirm password change. So now this dev guy, if you notice this 8160 number is the account number of the boss. This is the account number of the boss. So this dev guy is now using the account of the boss guy, Anil. So whatever the operations the developer do, all will be charged and all will be held against to the boss, Anil. So, and as you can see from the diagram, he has only EC2 admin access. Now so now the developer, now let's make him to access the DynamoDB table. Let's see whether he has an access or not. Try to create a table. Let's say yes. The partition key employee underscore ID as the primary key. Now the developer is trying to create a table in the DynamoDB. C, not authorized. You understood?
Can you repeat that again, please?
See, the dev guy, what are the credentials the dev guy has? I mean, what are the access policy the dev guy has? The dev has the EC2 access policy. You remember how we created the access to this guy?
Yes.
Or you want me to show again?
No, just this part on the left section.
So the thing is, this dev guy is trying to create, he's trying to access a service in which he has no access at all. So when he tried to create a table, he has no access to DynamoDB table. What he's trying to access? But when he's trying to access it, he's getting an error message. And the error message says, you do not have the required role to enable auto scaling by default. This is the error message that he's getting because he is not authorized. He has access to only EC2. Now, this guy tries to create an EC2 instance. He can create an instance because he has access to it, right? Now what I will do is I will give you the second credential, the database guy, the database credential to you, and let's see whether what services that you can access and what services you can't. Let's find out, okay? What's your email ID?
My email ID?
Yeah.
FOYEZCH.
Are you seeing my screen? Are you noticing my screen?
Yes, I am. Oh, you're searching
Where's
Chowdhury, CHOWDHURY. FOYEZ at yahoo.com.
so this is your email ID?
Yes.
Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to attach this file, credentials file. Send. So you try to access it from your end, and you tell me what can you access and what you cannot. Got the email?
No.
You'll get it. You'll get it.
Yep, got that one. It's onto the junk mail. Let me move it to. Yep.
So now try to access my account using the credentials.
Yeah, I can see the username, password.
No, you just navigate the link and get into that account and try to create. Try to create an EC2 instance.
So I'm logged into EC instance and AMI, right?
No, through my credentials, not through your credentials. Through the credentials that I just given to you.
Oh, okay. All right. So that is.
That is the reason why I have given you the this.
Let me log out from these.
So you have 1 second, and you have the login link as well. You must use the login link that is given inside your credentials. You cannot use the same login link.
Oh.
Because this login link is customized as per the user.
All right.
So you use the link, you log in, you change the password and you log in. Then you try to create an EC2 instance and try to create a DynamoDB table. Which one you are able to access it, and you just tell me, okay?
Authentication information is incorrect. That is database admin. Okay, got that. Yep, got that one. Login, new password. change the password.
Okay.
Then go to IAM. So I'm logged in right now, and
Mhm.
welcome to on the IAM.
And I'm going to make you the presenter and let me see what you're doing.
Okay. So I'm logged in here now.
No, no. Why did you go to IAM? I'm asking whether you can create an EC2 instance or not. See, you don't have access. That's what I'm talking about.
Yes.
So you understood this concept, right?
Yep.
Now try to go to click on services. Click on services
Services.
on the top
Yep.
and click on DynamoDB. Click and select and search DynamoDB. DynamoDB.
Yep.
Create table. Click create table. That's a database. So give it table name. Employee. Employee table. Give a primary key. Employee ID. Yeah. Now try to create. Scroll down, and try to create a table. Yeah. So you're able to create a table because you only have access to
DynamoDB.
DynamoDB. That is assigned by me. So IAM is basically the access to the services in AWS. So restriction of access or the control of access.
Yeah, it's work like AD, right? Active Directory.
I'm not sure what Active Directory is. I heard of it, Microsoft Active Directory, but I don't know what that is. Maybe something like that.
Oh.
So now, and Faiz, from tomorrow onwards, like, we can have a class at 9 o'clock because 10 o'clock is like, way too late for me.
So you moved into US now?
Yeah, I'm in Boston now.
Oh, in Boston. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then it will be perfectly fine. Like
Okay.
around 9.
Okay.
So you want to do it tomorrow or from Monday?
I think the thing is, on Monday and Wednesday,
Uh-huh.
I have work. So what we will do is tomorrow. So tomorrow is okay for you, right?
Tomorrow, can we do it in the morning then?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, yeah, that's
Absolutely fine. And what about Sunday?
thing I go out, so like
What about Sunday?
same thing. Sunday in the morning.
Yeah, that would be fine. That would be fine.
Anytime in the morning, you say, because I wake up pretty early. So if you
Okay. Okay.
and I will share you my phone number. So if anytime you want, if you just give me a buzz.
Yeah, that would be nice. That would be nice. So you understood this concept, right?
Yes.
So now let's try to understand what roles are and what groups are. And one second. So I've given control to you. Let me take control back to you.
So I'm sending you, here you will have my phone number,
Okay.
email address.
Okay, let's do it. Let's you can do it later. So
Yeah.
let's try to understand the IAM roles now. So we can give access to the multiple people. Okay, I'm still in the previous my account, my developer account. So let me sign into my own account.
So you're doing masters here?
Yeah,
Which university?
currently at Harvard.
Oh, wow, that's great.
Okay, so now we are in the IAM. So now let's talk about groups. So the thing is, let's try to delete this, please. So we can actually give access to any number of users at the same time. So what we can do is in an organization level, what we can do is, let's say dev team. Let's name this as people dev team. And for the dev team, let's say they need Amazon EC2. They might need DynamoDB because they're developers. They might need backend. So and what are the other important services? They might need Lambda full access. And for the Lambda, and apart from Lambda, they also need IAM. IAM, not full access. We can only give read-only access to them. So this group, this developer group, has EC2 full access, DynamoDB full access, Lambda full access, and IAM or read-only access. Create group. So now we create another group. Database admin. And let's say RDS, Amazon RDS full access. This is a relational database. And DynamoDB full access. Next, create group. So we have two groups here, database admin and database developer, and each of the group has several permissions, right?
Yeah.
Are you able to see those permissions here? And we have the permissions for each of the user. So now what we can do is we can create users. As I say, let's say dev_1 is a user. Dev_2 is a user. I mean, these are developers. Let's say I have 4 developers working under me. Dev_3 and Dev_4. So I would give them programmatic access. Programmatic access is just like the file that I've sent you. He has an access ID and a secret access ID. And AWS management control access, obviously.
Yep.
He has to manage through the console, right? So we can give auto-generated password or we can give custom password. Let's say I want to give custom password to those guys. So whatever the password that I set is a custom password. Required password reset, I think it's my prerogative. As the account owner, I can do whatever the setting that I want. Next, permissions.
Mm-hmm.
So now I don't need to add permissions to each and every one. I just add the users to the group. So all the 4 users belongs to the developer group. So create. So now the dev1, dev2, dev3, dev4. Now I can download this. I can download this one, but we can do it. If I click on download, credentials for all the developers in one page. See, okay, this is the previous one. Yeah, dev1, dev2, dev3, dev4. And these are the access and these are the secret access keys. So Now, if you go back to the IAM, in the previous case, we have individually assigned. In the previous case, and if you remember, we have individually assigned the policies to the developer. Now, we have just joined all the dev1, dev2, dev3, dev4 under the group dev, and this group has the policy. Got it?
Yeah.
And whatever the policy the dev group has, and the number of users will be affected by the same policy. We have 4 users, and 4 users will have all the 4 policies. And now we have the database admin. Database admin has 2 policies. This is the group. Now let's try to add users. Let's try to add admin 1 and admin 2. Custom, then it's my own right. Next permission. So I'm going to add these users to the group. So what is the group that I'm going to add? Database admin. That's it. So whatever the, let's go back to our IAM. So whatever the group policy that this database admin has, it is applicable to all the 2 users. So we have 2 policies here. The 2 policies are applicable to 2 users under this group. This is how you can manage a whole team. Let's say you don't have to, create multiple accounts. Let's say you're working in a startup. You don't have to create multiple accounts for each and every user, because they might misuse. Because AWS, sometimes it becomes very, very costly, and developers sometimes, when they try to, fiddle down on some of the services just for fun. Even they do it for fun, the bill will be on you. So what you can do is, in order to control the services that the developers are using, you can do this way. You understood?
We can create individual security group. Also, we can define individually, right?
Security group.
Like for the permission, we can define the group, and if I add any person on that group, you will have the same security structure.
No, you should not use the word security here. You should use the word policy.
User access.
Group access policy. That is what you have to use here.
User access
because
policy.
Security group is applicable to EC2 instances, not over here. So it might be confusing.
Yes.
So that's the reason. So the permissions, or you could simply say permissions through policies.
Okay.
So if you add another user, let's say if you add another user, you can create a user and you can add them to either any group. So we have 2 groups. Right. What are the groups here we have? Database admin and developer. So now you want to add one more user. Let's say one more employee. 3 has added. Employee _ 3 is the new employee. Now he got into the developer role. So in which group you gonna add?
Dev.
Dev, absolutely in dev. So, and what are the policies or what are the access permissions that this new employee 3 will get? Whatever the policy that the group dev has is applied to employee 3 as well.
Any of on dev 1, 2, 3, 4, or all of them?
Because all of them under what group? Under dev group.
Dev group, yes.
So whatever the policy that we have assigned for the group, dev group, that is applied to all the users here.
All the users, yeah.
Because see, when we first create a group, let's say we create a group, let's say support. Let's say we create a group. First thing what we do is we assign the permissions. Then we add the users.
Yeah.
So whatever the users will be, regardless of the number of users, gets added under the group. Whatever the policy that the group has, that is applied to all the users under the group. You understood that?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the whole thing. So now you know what's a group and how to assign policies to the group, then how to create a user and how to assign policies and how to add them to a group, or probably how to create an individual user like we have created, dev in the previous case, and how to assign policies, how to assign individual policies to individual users, and you know what is a policy. Now, most important thing is roles.
Mm-hmm.
Roles is a very important thing. See here, the roles that you give to the services, not to the individual users. I repeat that again for you. Roles are given to services. So roles is the kind of access that you give to a service to interact with a different service. Let's say I have an EC2 instance. And this EC2 instance wants to communicate with an S3 bucket. So you know what is an S3 bucket? It's a part of AWS. Hello?
S3 bucket.
Yeah. So let's say, I think you don't know about it. Let's say DynamoDB table you have just created by yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now an EC2 instance wants to communicate with a DynamoDB table. It cannot simply do that. It cannot simply communicate with that table. Why? Because EC2 instance must have the required permission to access the DynamoDB table. And the permission is assigned to roles.
Instance must have okay.
See, in the previous case, the developer has the permission, right? The developer, if developer wants to access a DynamoDB table, the developer has a permission, right?
Mm-hmm.
Here, the developer is replaced by the service, the EC2 instance itself. Here, the instance and here the services are trying to have communication with each other. You understand what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Here, there is no concept of users interacting with the services. Here, the services themselves are trying to interact with other services. Even that's why when an EC2 instance wants to access a DynamoDB table, it must have the permission, and permissions are assigned through roles. You understood this concept? So it's okay if you don't understand. Let's do a lab on this tomorrow, and tomorrow you'll understand what I'm talking about.
And Ganesh, I want you to suggest me any book or anything to read, like on
No,
my.
you see. The thing is, you don't have to do this. AWS can only be learned only if you practice.
Okay.
So whatever the lab that I've given you, you try to practice that again and again and again and again.
All right. Yeah.
Because to get these concepts that the notes have prepared, I think I've practiced like to get a grasp on this concept. I think I practiced at least 5 to 6 times.
Okay.
Not just one time is enough. Only through the practice you can easily score. If you practice, you can even write your own book.
All right.
So I'm going to send you the document. So if you have time, you just do the lab. as you know, the document is self-contained. You can simply go through it and you can do it. If you don't, that's fine. We'll do it tomorrow. Anyways, I'll be making you to do it, like we have done in the previous
So
classes.
in the morning, yeah, because I remember most of the stuff. Like in the meantime, I logged into my instance and I did some lab. So like it's easier for me also to understand and remember, like if I do it by myself. So that's
Yeah, you have to do it. I mean, the thing is, only through if you do these labs again and again and again, the thing is you'll gain an insight into this AWS. And once you gain an insight into the AWS, you don't have to prepare other notebooks. You just go and write the exam. Just go sit in the examination center. You can write the exam very easily because after doing this thing several times, these concepts strike you mentally, and that will help you to ace the exam very easily.
yeah.
Anyways, you suggest me the time tomorrow, and we will continue the class. Okay?
You tell me what time is best for you. Like I'm available. If you say at 10 in the morning, I have no problem because
Oh,
earlier is better for me.
okay. I think 10 o'clock is fine.
All right. So see you on 10 in the morning.
See you at 10 o'clock. Okay. Take care. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Take care. Bye.
Hello. Hello, Ganesh. Yeah, I think the session is over.